Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Infinite Podcast. It's been a couple of weeks. Apologize for last week. Unfortunately, I had late notice about a work change and I had to jump on an emergency flight and get home. But we're here this week and there's a hell of a lot to talk about. I haven't seen any of these guys for a while. So I'm going to be hearing about what they've been doing this week, just like you are. Miss Tappy, ThatBlueNumber. Holly, how's your week been? How's things going? What have you been up to? How's stuff and the things and the what's? Oh, salutations.
Hi. Sorry, I wasn't ready. Hi, Garuda. No, I want to say a special hello to Grey Monad. I've been super busy, so I haven't had a chance to get back to you, but I really wanted to just make sure that I said that and say hello. It's been a really busy week with just a lot of stuff happening. Yeah, so I've played a bit of Avowed, kept up with Fallout 76, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. Thank you. Really appreciate the support.
How's Avowed going for you? Whereabouts are you up to?
I'm like 40 hours in, I think. I am still in the Emerald Stair, still pretty early in it.
Okay.
I mean, I would say I'm probably 30-40% through Emerald Stair, I think.
Okay.
So it's like the second area.
Right. Yeah. Umbra, how has your week been? What have you been up to? I heard your fix got debunked, deleted, wiped. I didn't get a chance to see it because I work now during the week, so and it's busy. So, So how was it? And what happened?
It was a great show, man. Nearly 3 hours long. We talked about a bunch of gaming news. We talked about wrestling, or wrestling, as I sometimes say. Some wrestling. Gonna raffle up some gators. But yeah, we had a good time, man. Good discussion. It was Danny couldn't make it, but it was myself, Lucius. I'm not Lucius. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's Saturday, but it was myself, Santi, Lou, and my boy Dusty Uno. And man, we had a good conversation. But yeah, I shared some imagery or visuals and video clips of WWE, and they flagged the hell out of me, and they took it down as soon as I was finished. So it's restricted, but it's still there. I came to find later. So, but I had to I did press for them to edit those out after they gave me the option. So maybe they were like, okay, we'll pity you and allow some of this to stream at some places. So yeah, but other than that, man, it was okay. As far as gaming and things I had been doing, it's been a very strong month for me of buying things. I have been buying and acquiring a lot of material. And man, I have got my new 49-inch monitor put up, my new PC for podcasting. I have a new arm I have to install. I still didn't get a chance to. I was attempting to, and then Holly was like, "It's all showtime." I'm like, "Oops." So stuff like that. I got somebody calling me at the second. Also, so I installing a lot of things, and gaming wise, Avowed, I am literally right there at the end. I just didn't do it. Like I'm there literally at the last little moment. So I'm about to finish that maybe after the show.
How do you know that you're at the last moment? Because I'm a little bit skittish.
Well, the area I'm at is right where you have to make a very powerful in-game decision, and I've done everything to that moment to get to the central plot god, if you will, right? So I'm like right there. Yeah. Okay. And the area I'm in too is literally there. So I won't say much more. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but yeah, I'm like right there, literally. I'm gonna save Scum. I'm telling you all right now though, because there's an option to do one or the other at the end, and I'm definitely going to reload and just do the good option at the last second. So on the second one.
It's not spoiling anything, but are you at the garden? Is that what the go is?
That's correct. Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I'm not sure exactly where I am. I'm pretty close to the end, and I'm like, want to make sure I get everything nailed before I jump through that final hoop. So yes,
Yeah, but other than that, man, it's actually a really good game, I have to say. I got a lot of thoughts on it, but I will be going over that tomorrow. I guess I might as well plug it now since I'm talking about it. So tomorrow I'm having a special fix roundtable discussion for it. We'll do a spoiler review, and that'll be right after Kay and Everborn's GCP. So about 1:00 Eastern, we'll go live, and be myself, Lucius Augustus, and Slow-Mo Backslap. Yeah, it's going to be a good discussion.
Ooh, slow-mo. Maybe I should jump in there and pick a fight.
Slow-Mo likes to argue back now. I don't know if you want to do that. Y'all just derail the whole damn topic.
Oh, I'd love that. I'm a little combative myself, Garuda. How's your week been? What's been going on for you, man? You're in a tropical cyclone, getting blown away.
Yeah, just a little bit. We're sort of just on the edge of it, but yeah, it's been horrible weather. It's going to persist for the next couple of days. So yeah, I don't want to deal with any more fallen trees and shit like that. But apart from that, I'm having a great morning. I've been.
Why did you do that noise?
It was just like staying on brand, I've been playing Avowed as well. It's a fantastic game. I'm really enjoying my time. I think I'm roughly about where Holly is in the game. I'm in Emerald Stair, probably about I guess about halfway through it. I'm just really taking my time with that game. It's just great. It's just fun to play. I mean, the game. I'm gonna admit, I'll take an L. It was I was a little bit down on all the footage pre-release and stuff outside of the first original reveal trailer. The combat just looked really stilted and janky. It just didn't look fluid. It didn't show well. The game didn't show well after the initial reveal. But when you play the game, the combat feels excellent. The exploration just is fantastic. It's what you want from those Western RPGs. It's what Starfield doesn't have. That exploration and that sense of discovery and wonder and what's around the next corner and what's up on top of that mountain. Like, that was my criticism of Starfield.
It's got the verticality.
It has the verticality. Yeah. It has the cool unique items and things you can find. It's what those games should have, and it's what Starfield missed. And it sort of scratched that itch. So I'm really enjoying that game, just taking my time. And man, I can't wait to talk about this. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I played like 4 or 5 hours of Split Fiction last night. My son and I are going through the game. Man, I have not had that much fun playing a game in years. I mean, years. It is absolutely fantastic, just from the way it feels to play, the way it surprises you. Every single level or sort of turn of events that happen in the game, you're like, holy shit, I did not see that coming. I think I played about 8 different genre of games in that, or maybe even like 10 in that space of 4 or 5 hours. So the game is just unbelievable fun. Like, even just trying to kill each other, because it has friendly fire and stuff, and it's just, honestly, I can't go and buy the game. If you've got someone that's going to guarantee to commit playing the game with you, go and buy it, because one person only has to buy it because the Friends Pass allows the second player to download the game for free. So go and buy the game. It's not full price. It's going to win awards at the end of the year. It really is. If it continues to be as good as it is that I've played so far, and if it like gets better, it's going to win awards. It's that good. It's absolutely fantastic. Like, it is. When I was playing it, I said to my son, he's a grown man, by the way. He's like 23. I said, mate, like, this is why I play games, to have experiences like this. That's how good it is. So go and buy the game and play it. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think.
Do you feel like it's harder? Sorry. Do you feel like it's harder than It Takes Two?
I haven't played It Takes Two.
Oh no?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should play It Takes Two.
I had no one to play it with back then. But from what I've read, it's similar, but it builds upon it. But one of the only criticisms I've heard about Split Fiction is it's not easy. Some of the challenges are a little bit challenging so far, but it's really forgiving. When you die, you instantly respawn.
Mm-hmm.
There's no.
It was like that in It Takes Two.
Okay, yeah. So there's no real penalty for death except for. I mean, there's not even any frustration because the game is so fun. I never played through one gameplay segment that was tedious, that wasn't cool to replay. Now, some of them I played them and I was like, I want to do that again because it was so good. And the gameplay is so varied. I've never played a game that throws so many different genres of games and nails every single aspect of it all in one, 3 or 4 hour sitting. It's incredible. And it looks beautiful. It runs beautifully. There's no bugs. There's no glitches. It's just the best experience that you can probably have right now. Go and play it.
Just want to say one more thing too. Sorry, Riskit. Rachie just said something, and I cannot agree more. The Elephant Queen is the hardest moment of gaming ever in It Takes Two. The little elephant. It is. I hated absolutely every minute of that fight. I hated it. It was cute, and I really didn't want to do it. And I was really mad. It was like torture. It was like absolute. It was worse than when you realize in The Last of Us 2 that you have to play as Abby instead of Ellie. Like 100 times worse than that. It was really bad.
I seem to recall.
I hated that.
I seem to recall when we played it, she took delight in torturing that poor thing. I was like, damn.
It's not true.
I was like,
It's
why
not
are
true.
you so twisted?
It's so sad.
So hang on a minute. I don't understand why people got so upset about playing. I did like this. We're going to go off track here, but I don't understand why people got so upset about playing Abby instead of Ellie. I just did not get it. Like, yes, she did what she did, like whatever happened, that she did what she did. No spoilers for people who haven't played it, but like it was a really good design decision to flip the script and put you on the other side of the, so you develop a relationship with the bad guy, and then you learn the whole game was about learning that like the bad guy isn't really the bad guy. The bad guy just has a different perspective, right?
It's trash.
Might as well just watch a movie.
Oh. I've got an incoming call which is blocking my
I wondered why your audio spiked there for a second.
Yeah, fine.
It's Phil Spencer to tell you that your taste in games is shit.
Oh, dude, The Last of Us 2 was. I love that game. I love both the last. They're like great games.
Oh gosh, I just can't.
Great game. If people look,
that explains a lot. To be honest,
if people can't, like understand deep story design decisions, that's not my problem. I enjoy, Neil Druckmann's.
I don't like
arrogant
watching like cutscenes for 50 years and then have a little bit of gameplay. I don't like it.
It's not like that though. Have you played it? I don't think you've played it.
No, I haven't even played it.
Don't. It will ruin The Last of Us 1 for you. Don't play it.
Yeah, you need to play The Last of Us 1. Yeah, you need to play
that one. Don't play the second one. The second one doesn't exist. It is an illusion of a madman. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think a lot of people bought into the hate train on that one without really delving deep into understanding, the premise.
You got a very inflammatory smirk. Look at that smirk.
I want to hear that. I don't know why. What comes after the why? Come on.
Good.
Come on.
No.
Are you sure you good?
I've had a really hard week, and I'm not going to do this fight with you.
Anyway, Last of Us 2, best game of all time. No, it's not the best game of all time. It definitely had some faults.
It's the worst game of all time.
It's
worse than Gollum. It's worse than Gollum.
Ooh.
It's not even close to worse than Gollum.
No.
Not even close.
Yeah, buddy.
No.
Well, so my week has been really interesting. So for all you guys in the chat, again, as I said, just briefly, like I've had a change in work circumstance, which means if you don't know, I work half the year. I get paid for the entire year, but I work half the year. So I fly in and fly out, have a week on and a week off, basically. And my work situation has changed. I'm now working like every other schlub, 5 and 2, doing my 5 days on, my weekends off. Yeah, I know, right? But and the best part, I'm not getting paid any extra to do it, so I'm really excited about that. But it's a good opportunity, so I had to take it. It's only for 3 months, but yeah, and because that makes it really difficult for me to get in and play some games, have some me time. So I sort of struggled getting to the. Everyone's overtaken me on Avowed. Loving Avowed. Like I'm not tired of it. Like I'm just not tired of like, and I don't understand the combat critiques because it's like I am at a point now where I'm adding fire, poison, bleed, ice, and electricity, like using all of my abilities and then my companion's abilities and just wrecking people. It is so much fun.
I love it.
And the
so where are you? Where are you at it then?
I'm in Shatterscarp, which is the third area. So Holly, you haven't overtaken me. I'm in the third area.
Okay.
Right. And I like, so watching skill ups, and I normally, if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of skill up, love skill up, picked him up off the ground at 2023 and shook him around like a rag doll. Love the guy so much, but he was complaining about he didn't have enough armor and his guys were dying all the time. And I sort of found that in the middle, but I'm now starting to think that he just didn't build right. Like my build just absolutely wrecks everyone.
Yeah, it's not the first time that people have called out skill up for lacking skill in games, because some other people were saying he blamed the game for his lack of ability, and it's starting to add up actually now that I'm paying attention. Because that didn't make. I agree. I played the combat is not. It's not so hard or crazy or anything the way he described it. I'm like, what?
The problem is, like, I noticed last night or yesterday or whatever when I was playing Avowed, the enemies have like tiers of strength or difficulty, and if your weapons don't match that tier, you will barely cause any damage, and you'll be able to see next to the enemy's health bar what level they are. And your weapon needs to be at least on that level. Otherwise, you're going to have a really difficult time, and your build it's not really effective. You can still win, but it's a super challenging fight if you don't have the right weapon. So
yeah, but I've got a super powerful sword that you get. The one critique that I'll have is like they don't commit you to a choice, and maybe I like this and maybe I don't. I'm sort of undecided, but like they don't commit you. You don't find weapons in later game that are like, ooh, I need to switch. You can just upgrade that same weapon all the way through, and it gets to a point where it's beastie. And so you don't. I tend to be picking up a weapon, and I'm like, yeah, it's still not as good as my weapon, and then I'll just like break it down. So there is that. Is that the looting isn't as exciting because I'm not really worried about what I'm going to pick up next because I've already got the beastiest weapons. My wand is like unbelievable. I fucking love the one that I have. It shoots electricity.
What about your armor and stuff though? Like, what about finding?
Armor's good, man. Yeah. That is one thing. It's a little bit hard to find the Blackwood branches that you need to upgrade the armor into the legendary.
You can
section.
craft them.
Yeah,
you can, but it's also really hard to find the softwood branches and all the other branches that you need to find.
Yeah, you run out of stuff.
Because the resources are finite too, aren't they? Like some of the so your enemies are finite, and some of your resources are finite, and that's something that Obsidian does. Like in Grounded, some of the key resources, like the key end game upgrading resources, are finite in the world. So once you've found them, it's done. So that's what they do.
And I think they've maybe it's real hard to balance that, I think, and they may have just slightly underbalanced it. I've also noticed that when I first started the game and after the new big patch that they put out, there wasn't respawning enemies before that. Now I'm starting to get a lot of respawning enemies, which I didn't have before. So I think they might have put into the game some respawns in areas, so you maybe get 1 or 2 respawns of enemies in areas that you've been to, which is cool. And I prefer, because I don't like, once you've wrecked everyone in the entire area, when you get to the end game, you basically just start hopping the fast travels and then running to where you're going, and then nothing happens on the way. So it's not boring. Like you pretty quickly get to where you need to go, but I would like to have a fight on the way there. And I find now in the later game that I'm having that. Maybe not in the area. Maybe they haven't updated that in the first few areas, and maybe this is just how the third area is. I don't know. But yeah, I'm loving it, man. Like I do not understand people who do not like enjoy this combat. One of the only problem I have with the combat is when you're casting, is that your cast circle for like frost or electricity will sometimes get caught on a rock or a piece of geometry, and you can't push it to where you want it to be, especially when you're on a different level. Other than that, I fucking love it. Like, and it doesn't look good when you post it. So like I've clipped a lot for this game and posted it on Twitter. And it doesn't look great, you know what I mean? Like, but when you're playing it,
doesn't
it feels
show well.
really good.
The game does not show well. For whatever reason, it doesn't show well. You have to play it and to be able to feel the feedback of the combat and just how fluid the movement is and how the particle effects look when it's not, in compressed footage and everything like that. It really looks and plays beautifully. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just for me, I'm pretty close to the end, so I'm sitting at the moment. I don't want to say a 9 because I don't think it's there. I think there's some stuff they probably need to do in a sequel to bring it up to a 9-10 status. But I think it's sitting really on the precipice. So it's like an 8. I don't like to put in points, but I'm saying like at the minute 8.5, 8. But really fucking enjoying it. And every time I post something positive about it, there's so many haters out there just like trying to shit on the game, and I don't get it. I don't understand it.
What console?
I do.
What console can you play it on, and which one only can you play it on? That's why there's hate. Like,
that's not why there's hate.
Well, there's
not for Avowed.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. There is a little bit more, but that definitely has something to do with it. You know what I mean?
For the ponies, for our Hoove brothers, for sure. But then you have these anti guys out there.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know why they're making a fuss, because it's like it's nothing. It's like
it's a bigger issue than just this, because there is like nothing in this game, right? Like it's just
it's just
a normal game.
It's just a bigger, longer issue than in just having pronouns in your original character creator. Like it's much larger than that.
For them, you saying?
You mean you're talking about the
Yeah.
You're talking about the art director
behind it? Okay, I see what you're saying.
I mean, there's just a lot of there's that, plus like there's this weird dynamic in gaming, more than and only in gaming, that's not in movies, it's not in music, where game developers interact actively with their player base, right? And that doesn't happen in anything else. So there's this back and forth where they're responding, and there's they're like sparring, sometimes with people on the internet. So there's a lot of this discourse, and then there's just a lot, and it just builds up, right? I think there's been a lot of build up. Matt Hansen certainly did not help, and the fact comes to that it's just people feel frustrated because they're not being heard. Whether you agree with them or not, that's just the sentiment. And then they see something happen like the art director issue, and then there's no accountability and there's no show of responsibility for something that any of us would have gotten fired for. So then it builds more frustration. And because of the fact that they feel like they're not being listened to, then it steamrolls, and then you have instigators, like ones that we are all very aware of, that perpetuate a problem. So
you mean grifters?
There's
the grifters.
Like, you can.
I don't like to mince words. I just like to call them what they are.
Okay, well, that's fine. You can call them that. I don't care.
Just like to be straightforward.
It's just an overused word, but anyway, there's just a lot that's built into this, right or wrong. That's what happens. And with anything, there always winds up being something that winds up being more of a scapegoat, or more, it gets more flack than probably it deserves because of other issues in the past. And it kind of steamrolls and it balls into something, and then it's pointed at one direction that maybe didn't quite deserve it. Right. But Matt Hansen is a huge problem in this whole thing.
It's just a lot of whiners. That's all it is. And the same people who are whining are the most toxic people on the internet.
Okay.
It's the most toxic people out there are like, hell, they won't listen to me, or they blocked me, or they said this mean thing to me in response after I wished death on them or something. Like, please shut up.
Yeah.
A lot of these people are just whiny losers who want attention. That's all that it comes down to. And it's a culture war that does not need to be there. And I'm not even excusing the person who said some mean stuff on the team or Avowed or whatever. That I get that smoke 100%.
Yeah, that part I didn't really like.
Yeah, that I get. But these people, like you said, to your point, Holly, these people have made and blown it up to something it shouldn't be. And they're trying to punish the game for it. It's the same way I felt for Hogwarts when the media was trying to punish Hogwarts and such for J.K. Rowling is the same way I feel here when these idiots are trying to punish this game for one person.
Yeah, punishing the wrong people there. Like,
Yeah, look-
I'll be honest. Like, these people who are complaining and throwing this ridiculous smoke at the game, like, half of them are probably playing the game, and the other half are missing out on a great game. So they're the losers. They're the losers, bro. They are the losers.
That's the thing. They are, and they don't get that. Like this whole whining about all these games, we've lost, or they have lost at least the plot. Like the whole point of gaming is to escape, right? It's escapism, is to enjoy it. It's a hobby we're supposed to enjoy. All I see is whining and complaining. How can you enjoy something like this? How can you?
Yeah, look, my thing is like, it's the like I keep saying this, developers just need to, like, when it comes to this stuff, just shut the fuck up and don't get involved. Just shut up and keep it moving. And Matt Hansen definitely, and putting stuff like that out there on the internet, you know, it obviously did not age well. And because it was something that he said quite some time ago, in, like, I would call the middle of the culture war, right? Where it was probably popular to say stuff like that, or is okay to say stuff like that. You know, things change. Just as far as developers go, I think they just need to stay the fuck out of politics. In 100%, your game, like on Twitter, your game's going to have political stuff in it because, you know, like, I mean, look at Avowed. Yeah, you know, the Steel Garrote is not try to spoil it for anyone. That Steel Garrote is like a religious sect inside the government, and, you know, and that creates political turmoil between the factions, and that stuff's going to be in there, and that stuff's cool. Like, have it in there, or riff off what's happening in the world. That's fine. But when it comes to Twitter, just keep your mouth shut about political stuff and make your game, is what I think. And then the blowing up of stuff. I think Grifters is accurate for Grums. Absolutely 100% for Grums. He hit a nerve on one of his posts, and you could literally go back and find that post where he commented on something that was relating to the culture war. That blew up, and then every single post after that, that's what it was about. And
bro,
it
the
became
etymology for grifting is Grums.
Yeah,
it became his like.
It became his niche.
Yeah, exactly that. And so they are out there. Not all. I think some people have genuine. And I think, again, like, as you know, I think there's genuine, like, issues you can raise. I mean, definitely Dragon Age, like, had stuff in it that was just fucking ridiculous. And I didn't play the game yet. I will play it when it comes to Game Pass, because it will. It's on EA. And I'll probably have some more comments on it
right now, I think, right? Yeah, I think it's on PlayStation Plus. Yeah. If you got PlayStation Plus, I mean, you could play it or whatever you wanted.
I do not have PlayStation Plus.
No one has PlayStation Plus, bro.
Crap service.
not even our distinguished Who brothers.
No. Why would
No, they don't like to rent their games. They don't like to rent them.
Good point.
Yeah, but, like, there's genuine. This is the problem. It's been and we'll move on to, like, an actual topic, because this is not one of the planned topics. But it got hijacked by people who blow shit up, like Avowed, like the Matt Hansen thing. At the end of the day, I can separate I don't like what he said, but his game's good, you know. And it's not his game; it's a lot of people's game, and that made it. And I can still, and there's none of that what people are complaining about is not within this game. It's just a straight up game-ass video game, like it's a game.
So true.
And so if people are, like, steering away from it because of you know, having and again, I actually don't have a problem with them having pronouns. It's not permeated throughout the game that I should be speaking to trans people in a particular way or anything like that. It's just not in there. Like, you know, it just gave people the opportunity at the start of the game to choose their pronouns, and I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to choose your fucking pronouns, go for it.
I've not come across anything like that, honestly.
Yeah, it's not in there like that. Yeah,
it's not in there. Yeah, it's just a choice at the start of the game, and they were. And this is the other problem I have with this whole thing, though, is the and I just did it myself, so feel free to, like, roast me, chat, go for it. But this whole ripping on the game before you've even played it, before you've even touched the game, you can have a little bit of an opinion on what you've seen, cool. But this, like, completely writing it off before you've even touched the game, I think is just stupid, man. Like, And it used to be in the video game industry, if you were having a conversation with someone or a little back and forth on Twitter and they hadn't played the game, that was the hugest gotcha you had. You know what I mean? Like that absolutely would destroy the argument, and they were like cast out of the argument. So I think just wait till you play these games and then play them. But I'm having bringing it back to Avowed. I'm having a great time with it. I'm really loving it. I do want to play Split Fiction. I've keyed up my son to play Split Fiction. He's having one of those moments where he's not really gaming at the moment. But I'm going to drag him in for this and try to get through it with him. He works away and we've got weird hours. So, and he's like an old man. He goes to bed at 9, but I'm hoping to get through it. If not, I'll have to find a friend. One other thing, if you want to play Split Fiction and you don't have any friends you want to hook it up with, they do have a Discord where you can hook up with people. Split Fiction Discord where you can hook up with people.
You hook up with people over there.
Huh? Can you tell me again where
invite,
that
is? Like, hey, girl,
and you can invite people.
You down for
into your game?
Split Fiction?
You're down to get Split Fiction?
That used to be World of Warcraft back in the day. Like, I feel like that was one of the video gamers like pickup hub central and sounds of things. Had so many people I've met that go, I met my missus through World of Warcraft. I need to get on that thing. No, I'm happily.
Can you even imagine trying to hook up through World of Warcraft? Hey, so I'm gonna raid this dungeon. I can't even imagine.
You're stereotyping, Umbra. You're terribly stereotyping.
I know, that's not right. That's not right.
You want me to raid your dungeon?
I'm something of a dungeon crawler myself.
All right, well, look, I definitely want to jump into the first topic. Before I do, guys, please hit the like button, share us out. We go live at 7 p.m. every Friday. I don't know if we've had daylight savings yet, but at the moment, 7 p.m. every Friday until further notice. And I'll let you know if anything changes. Look, there's been a lot of interesting news over the past couple of weeks. So I pulled from this week and pulled from last week and just the stuff that I was super interested in. And one of them that I saw was Call of Duty 2026 is reportedly being developed for the next generation of Xbox. It has been claimed. I'm just going to verbatim some of this so we know where we're sitting. According to this is an article from Tom Henderson and Insider Gaming. Said, according to a reputable Call of Duty leaker, the Ghost of Hope, who took to X to break the news after it was announced, Season 3 of Black Ops 6 would be delayed until April. According to Hope, the 2026 title is not being developed for past generation consoles and is being developed for the next generation of Xbox. If true, this could be our first real hint that the next gen Xbox could release around about fall 2026. I want to tie this into another topic that we want to talk about, which is a little bit of bad news, which is Fable's delay. Fable has been delayed to 2026 for a few different reasons, according to the rumors circulating. A well-known Xbox leaker, whatever his name is, reported in a new video that one of their sources who informed them about a possible delay for the new entry in the series at the end of last month said Fable has been delayed to next year for a few reasons, which include technical reasons caused by the Forza engine, and also an additional development time was required to make some other adjustments to the game, including gameplay adjustments, pace, progression, and gameplay in its first form wasn't considered too fun. While it wouldn't have been a proper Fable game without a delay caused by technical issues, which is true, the comments on gameplay are certainly more concerning. There's also rumors that it's been delayed for to port to the PS5 and release day and date. So I was sort of reading through this, and this sort of all starts to make sense to me because I feel like Fable would probably be one of those games where they're pushing the bar on technically. And bringing it to the next generation of Xbox, hopefully it still launches on the Series X, but bringing it to the next generation of Xbox makes sense to me. But also, this is just some more of the Call of Duty news. This is some more rumors that sort of backs up, and I expect to hear a lot more leaking out of third-party developers that they've got the GDKs for the next Xbox if it's coming in 2026. So I'm super, super hyped. We've talked often about what we want to see from the next Xbox. I'll go to the panel on whether they believe that this rumor is true, whether Call of Duty is being developed for the next Xbox, and if they think that Fable's obviously probably being developed for the next Xbox as well, and what you want to see from this new SKU. And considering that all of you at this point, horrible PC gamers.
Wait a minute, why is it still a pony sound? I don't understand. Shouldn't be an enlightened.
Don't you have a PlayStation? I don't.
He's
I
right
have no
about
PlayStation, sir.
that. No, he's denying it now. He's turned Judas to PlayStation. He's denying it.
But I'm just curious as what you guys want to see from it. And are you going to purchase it? Is it going to be, if it comes out as something that you want, are you going to jump on it? I mean, I'm not going to go to Garuda first because the answer is going to be immediately no, because he's very PC Master Race focused. Umbra, I still think there's a chance to bring you back to the side of the Jedis. Holly, I'm betting that you will. I feel like you will. You're still with us in the console space, so we appreciate that. But Umbra, I just want to know what do you want to see from the next Xbox? And if you get what you think is coming, will you purchase another console, or is that it for you? You've done your PC. That's it. Done.
You know, man, it is tough to really. The more I have been in, I guess, diving deeper into it and being enamored by the PC experience, I guess I should say. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Bask me in the glory. The more I have been doing that, the less I've been like, I need to get I can't wait for the next console. I will be honest. So it's getting, it's getting tougher and tougher. I will be honest, but I'm still very excited for the next Xbox right now, currently, because I think it's going to push, console purists like yourself further into the PC arms. That's wide open, waiting for you to come on aboard, and because it's going to be very much more PC focused. And I think if what I'm thinking is going to come to fruition, to borrow a word from Boom he uses often, the next Xbox is going to be very PC like. So the structure of that, I think, is going to lend itself to you moving forward eventually at some point. I like that. I like everything that I'm hearing about it, from behind the scenes. I don't want to make it like I'm an insider or nothing like that. But just hearing a lot of different things about what the plans are and how they plan to implement, storefronts like Steam and Epic and things like that. Phil has openly spoken about that, by the way. This is not just like random speculation. Phil he's on record saying, yeah, I would like to get the storefront of Epic and Steam. He's saying this, and he's doing it in a very coded way, of course, not to give their plans away, but once there's smoke, there's fire, right? And in this case, for Xbox, that seems to always be the case because they can't keep a secret to save their lives. But so hearing that, I'm excited as hell actually still for Xbox, believe it or not. But I'm my technology I have is so far ahead of it. It's kind of like, how much excited can I get? That said, yes. Glory be to PC. But that said, as far as what I would like, definitely everything we've been speaking about, just implementing the more of the PC storefronts into Xbox. That way, Xbox gamers don't miss out on anything. That's the biggest thing for me. Also, there is the off chance that depending on how Sony plays it, I don't know if they can. I'm hearing mixed signals, like why would Sony do it? And then I'm hearing, well, Sony can have these storefronts ban, or at least Steam ban, your specific hardware from being able to access their games on that hardware, right? So I'm like, so that if they don't do that, there is the chance then that you'll be able to play PlayStation games on your Xbox, right? Which is pretty funny. So I like the irony of that, and I hope that actually comes true because of that, because I cannot wait to see the fallout online and in podcasts because of it. But yeah, it's a lot of promise when it comes to what we're hearing. As long as they can land that, I'm good with it. The handheld option sounds great too. I just want to see how they handle it all. I don't know how it's all going to shake out, but yeah. But as far as what I would like, I don't know if it's going to pull me to answer your central question. I don't know if it's going to pull me away from the direction I'm currently going. That didn't fit. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to pull me from the current direction I'm at, but I am happy for our console brothers and sisters who are still, struggling. I mean, enjoying what they're enjoying. Though.
Oh my goodness!
I
ascended, and then you just pissed down on all your former brethren.
So with the PlayStation banning thing, they can. I know that they can actually ban the hardware, so that's a thing. They can do that. They can stop it. But will they? Because they de facto allowed Death Stranding 2 onto Xbox and Death Stranding, right? They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to let go of that IP.
Yeah,
so,
true.
2
is it
isn't on Xbox. 2 won't be on Xbox.
No, I think you
not
misspoke
immediately,
a little bit
right?
Well, maybe not immediately, but it's definitely. I mean, there's no
probably like 4 years.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be that long. You think so? 4 years?
Well, Death Stranding took that long.
Yeah.
Did it really take that long? Damn.
Yeah, it did. It's a
Jeez.
2020
long.
game.
Yeah.
It's a 2020 game. Yeah.
And that's something.
Well, as of November 2024, the word is that they don't know because it hasn't been announced. So it's not a definite no.
But Sony funded it. There's no way that they would let
They
that
published
just be
it,
solid
funded it.
multiplat. Yeah,
Right.
that's not.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be there.
In 4 years.
But again, they allowed Death Stranding 1 onto Xbox de facto. So it's sort of in a backdoor way. They got one of their games published on Xbox, right? So I sort of feel like they might just de facto backdoor allow that to happen and be like, "Wow, we can't stop it." It is what it is. It sucks for us, but we're loving that you're buying our games. You know what I mean? Like that sort of may happen. But I mean, again, I was in the chat talking about how people really do need to stop talking about PlayStation games coming to Xbox and this whole two-way streak thing, because it's just not ever going to directly happen. Like, I don't see in the next 10 years PlayStation going, well, we're going to start publishing our games on Xbox. It's just not happening. Like, it's not. So let it go.
Do you think there ever may be a chance where Sony's in never dire straits and they might do something like that? Or you think they might just be purchased by somebody?
Nope, definitely not. No, I don't. They are not entrenched in any other ways of delivering their games. They're not even really that entrenched in PC yet, and they're not so entrenched that their console is their delivery platform, whereas Xbox's delivery platform is anywhere you can download the app, right, or even on TVs. So it's a very different ball game, and yeah, I don't see them. That's just burning money for them. I think I don't see them putting and look, 30 million consoles is nothing to sneeze at. But the brand damage again, and I'd say the same thing for Xbox, even though it's 100 million consoles over there. I personally don't think the brand damage is worth publishing your games on another platform. 100 million consoles, yeah, like sure, but I mean, you know how I feel about the whole Xbox thing, so I'm not going to go back into that. But I think PlayStation most definitely has built their brand on their exclusives, and if they don't have them, and that brand damage happens, I think they'll see they'll just start bleeding money. So I don't ever see it happening. Not in the next 10 years. Maybe something will change. Holly, coming back to you, curious as to your thoughts on the next. I think you'll definitely be buying into the next console generation, but what do you want to see from it? Do you think that they are publishing that Call of Duty in 2026 on the new Xbox, which will launch in 2026? Do you think that's happening, or do you think it's further down the track? And what do you want to see from it?
I feel like these rumors about Call of Duty started with more of the Call of Duty Intel people, right? Like Charlie Intel and Modern Warzone and some of them. It wasn't like the traditional, more like console related space that brought those rumors. I think it started with the Call of Duty community, and generally speaking, those Call of Duty guys are pretty spot on with everything that they talk about that they've leaked. So if they were the ones that did start that, it is a pretty good chance that that's true. As far as the next Call of Duty, there's supposed to be omni movement and walled running. So they're adding that in, which also came from that leak. As far as the console, yeah, I will definitely still buy consoles. This is probably the last one that will be made, but I will definitely buy it. And then it's super unfortunate for Xbox if their next console does not include all of these PC integrations that rumors that have been floating around for the last couple of years, because I feel like at this point there's so much of a flurry of that being a rumor that anything less than that would probably be a significant disappointment for them.
Yes.
So having said that, I would say that it's probably everybody's pretty universally, at least in this space that we all sort of, podcast and listen to podcasts and all that stuff on, is that is the expectation, because the community has just like blown this idea up so big. And I'm not sure that if that was definitely not going to be the case, of course they can't come out and say this is, like our box will have this, it won't have that, etc. But it probably would have been better for them to sort of lull the community with this idea instead of letting them run wild with it for the last year and beyond until the next box does get announced, because it is going to be a bigger deal, I think, for them if they don't have that. And it's going to drive Xbox people even further away at that point. At least the core, the core community. So that's what I hope is there for their sake and ours, because it would be a great integration. I also wouldn't be surprised to see, which I think a lot of people have also talked about, is if we see an Xbox or a Microsoft Xbox, and also an Asus Xbox and a Razer Xbox and a Logitech, or you know what I mean? And them have different capabilities and different components, and Microsoft have the maybe more expensive niche product of all of the options. But and if that was the case, I would still buy the Xbox version, just because I always feel like they're probably going to do it best. But it will be the more expensive one if they do that, I believe. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I think they definitely should. Well, the third party, I don't think that's happening in this SKU. I think that's probably the future.
It could be a couple years out after the initial launch or something like that.
Yeah. I think they'll drop their box and see how they go before they start licensing. Because if this is dropping in 2026, they're ahead of PlayStation on the next generation. So that happened with 360, and it went really well for them. Just listening to Danny Pena's channel in the interview with Peter Moore, and that, looking back on the 360, it did go really, really well. I think you're 100% right. If Steam, Itch, Epic, these PC integrations are not happening at this point, they should have killed that rumor. Like publicly killed that rumor immediately instead of allowing it to continue. I think at this point, the only reason that wouldn't happen would be a technical or licensing reason, and being this far down the line.
The licensing is a bigger problem than the technical issue at this point.
Yeah, and I think if they're this far down the line and they haven't killed the rumor, it probably is happening, or they're looking really positively at it happening. And if it does, again, as I said, if it does get to the launch and they're like, hey, this is not happening, or it's a feature that they're planned for, hey, we have this with the capability, but we're not doing it now. It's obviously because they couldn't get it done in the time frame that they had. But I really do think, from everything that we've heard coming down the pipe, is that is what is happening. And we did hear that pretty early on. So way before all these rumors started swirling across Twitter. This is what we heard. So, and then it sort of started breaking out there, and people started talking about it publicly. So
it's either that or whatever if they don't have that, whatever their next box is really innovative in some other way that they're confident that it'll feel like, not necessarily a 1-to-1, but like it'll please people even if there's some disappointment. You know what I mean? It would have to be something major.
Yeah.
As like a trade-off.
Yeah. Yeah. Power wise, I'm pretty interested, because one of the things that Phil Spencer said as well, he said the hardware should be able to sort of stand on its own, and the hardware, you should be buying that hardware for the hardware's sake. So that says to me, sort of de facto, is they're really focusing on making the hardware, like the Surface, really competitive in its space with all the power, all the features. And Xbox is always that's that one argument that I always get all the time is, you can sell a console on features. Well, it hasn't worked yet, man. Xbox has always been a feature-rich console, so If we were buying things for features, it would be selling. I mean, it is selling, but it would be selling more.
That's a good
Garuda,
point.
how?
That's a good point.
Yeah. How are you feeling on this whole X? I know you are very much a PC master race, but let's say Xbox drops the new Xbox with say a 3080 sort of level GPU, or even D-Batch's Serene 4070. So it drops with like a decent amount of power, and is pumping out games at, let's say, upscaled 4K, 120 FPS, right? And you want to get a second box. You're obviously not going to buy a second PC. Would it be something that you would look at? How are you feeling about this? Do you believe it's 2026?
There's a few ways I look at it. It's not as clear cut as me being hardcore PC side and then that's all there is to it. Like, that's true. It's like Umbra was saying, once you have kind of experienced the options you have on PC, the unlimited potential of flexibility about how to run your games, just how amazing things are when everything's turned up to the max and you don't have to worry. It truly is. It's difficult to go back, right? Because you have all these options. However, I'm always interested in new hardware. Like, it's exciting when new hardware comes out, right? The likelihood of me actually going and purchasing the new Xbox is low simply because I am on PC, and unless the Xbox can offer something that is unique to the platform or unique to the hardware, and it has to be really compelling, there's no real reason for me personally to go out and purchase it. However, I still have a strong opinion on what I think the console needs to have for it to be successful and satisfactory for the Xbox console guys like yourself who want to stay on console. And like Holly was saying before, the PC storefront integration, it's sort of a non-negotiable at this point. It needs to be there, because what they need to do with this new system, in my opinion, is they need to close the gap or eliminate the gap as far as what the Xbox console players are missing out on versus PC now. And it's the reason why I moved from console to PC full time, is because I was missing out on too many things being on the console platform. Not just hardware and performance of my games, but the cost of games, the variety, some of the games skipping the platform, all these different things that the console just didn't allow. It's mostly flexibility stuff and things like that. But the PC storefront integration must come in. Power, though, they're never going to get me with power, because think about it this way. I already have like a 4080. I've got the 5090 on the way. Like, do you know what I mean, though? Like, for real, like, I'm not trying to sort of skite about where I'm at with hardware, but that's the reality. Like, what I'm playing now is already going to be more powerful than the new system, and what I've got on the way is like orders of magnitude. Like, so power wise, they're not going to get me, but handheld wise, they might get me. If the handheld comes out, it's at a good price point and it can run games well, and it can integrate the Xbox ecosystem into it flawlessly without having all this mess that the PC Xbox app has now, then you will probably get me to buy the handheld. But the actual under TV console, no, unless it offers something that's truly unique, which I can't think of anything right now that could possibly be. I don't really see myself doing that. I've already got like half the parts to build another PC from my old PC. Sort of like with PC, like, it's expensive on the outset, right? But then when you just upgrade one piece here and there, it's nowhere near as expensive. And I'm frozen on my side. Am I frozen for you?
Yeah. Oh, you're moving now.
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I mean, no, like, I'm excited for the hardware. I'm always interested to see what they're coming with, but like, what are they going to offer, man? That's different. That's my thing. They have to have a compelling point of difference, and without upgradable hardware, like you said to yourself, like if it comes out with a 4070 or even a 4080 spec, GPU. Okay, so imagine they came out with that in 2026. Like, that's already sort of mid range now. 2026, it's going to be the consoles always launch with a decent power spec on paper. But within 2 years, if you can't upgrade them, we're back to 30 FPS again, and that's the trend that will always go like that, So
I don't think so. I don't think so. No. You're sitting at the point of diminishing returns, and the other thing that you have to sort of take into account is what we've seen with 4090s. We've seen 4090s struggle with games. What we've seen is games.
That's why I'm saying this, because one thing I've learned, Riskit, from being on PC is that even the best hardware, if you max everything out, you need, some of these games require the best available hardware, like $5,000 PCs, just to run it at their best at 120 FPS. Like a console is never ever going to do that. It's but what you're talking about there is optimization, because a lot of these games shouldn't, with what they're showing. For instance, go back to Gotham Knights or and lots of different games that we've seen. We'll go back to The Last of Us. We've seen launch on PC is the optimization is not there. And the optimization has always been better for consoles. Always. That's just a fact at the minute, and that may swing because of the increasing size of the pool on PC, and they may start to focus their optimization there. But at this point, they're not. There is one thing that I sort of wanted to talk about, and everyone. I think there was some talking about this last week, but it was a bit of a last week's thing. But before we jump into the next topic that's related to this topic, please hit the like button, share us out. We go live 7 p.m. EST every Friday, unless I get an emergency call for a flight. So look, Satya Nadella sat down and had a chat with, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but he sat down and had a chat about lots of things. One of the things that he spoke about was AI within gaming. It was about at the 43-minute mark. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it. But he said a couple of really poignant things, and one of the things that relates to this conversation that we're having now. And if they build AI into this box correctly, and it's leverageable in an easy way, I think that we could be looking at something that does step up the console, maybe not to PC, but provide you with features that you may not be able to get on PC or not easily implementable on PC. I don't know if that's a word, implementable. But I just made it up. We'll put it in the dictionary. Riskit's dictionary of bullshit words. But anyway, one of the things that I found really interesting, and a lot of people talking about this.
Believe it or not, implementable is a word.
Oh shit. One of the things that I found really interesting about this conversation was they're talking about and everyone flipped out about this, and I saw a lot of negative about this, and yes, it may affect people's jobs within the industry, but for me, I was like, this is really exciting. And one of the things that Satya talked about is getting the consumer to buy into AI without the fear. And the reaction to this just sort of bodes true to what he was saying, is because there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt around this. But what they were talking about, just their very base, what they're doing with the AI at the minute within some games, is what they're doing is they're having testers play the game, or they're having people play the game. The AI watches that person play the game. It models their behavior, learns from everything that they're doing, and then they can take the training wheels off and they let the AI play the game itself. And it behaves like a person, right? Because it's learned from that modeled behavior of the person playing. Sliding and flipping and mantling and all these things that you might see AI do that are very sort of scripted in the games now. And what this says to me, there's so many positives in so many ways. This shows me that, one, we can start to actually, and I've said since this generation that the next step is in AI, and not AI in large language models or modeling behavior or anything. I mean the AI of your NPCs. What they do in the world and how it feels. If we look at Cyberpunk, that trash game, when it launched, its AI was absolutely horrific. The cops would just appear out of nowhere, and
we heard how you tried to throw trash in there for Cyber. We heard that part.
The AI behaved like terribly, right? Whereas you've got to GTA, which would have taken years and years of development. Whereas their AI is good, but it's not. You don't. Look, let's be honest, you can suspend your belief, but you don't feel like that AI is really living a life or behaving in a way that's real, right? They're not doing things that you think humans would do, even with a character. And so I think this is sort of the next step, right? Especially when we're talking about, you want to release a shooter and you've got AI bots in it to sort of beef it out, and you want to do an early access release. Well, if you can build your NPCs or your bots in there that sort of fill up your servers, right, when you're in early access, you could make that game feel lived in, make it feel like it's got players, and extend the life of the game until you've got to a point where people want to play it, right? So that's one use. Another use is when it comes to like games like GTA, you could literally sit down instead of scripting and developing or programming your AI in the NPCs in the game. You could have people play, and get them to get the AI to model the behavior, and that's you completely scripting. That removes a huge part of development. You're talking about hundreds of hours, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars. That speeds up development. It also makes the game feel more lived in, right? It also opens up more opportunities for Q&A testers or testers. Instead of actually testing the game at the end of the game, they become a part of development. Did you have a bit of a lightning strike? Nope. Yeah. Garuda's in a cyclone at the moment, so maybe his roof just got ripped off or something. So there should be maybe some interesting news when he comes back. But yeah, I see this as a really good thing. And if they can build it into games and build it into a box, I think we're looking at a very interesting industry going forward. And I didn't see I saw the negativity, but I didn't feel the negativity when I thought about this from a critical standpoint of what this could mean for us going forward as gamers. I think this is only a positive. The other thing is, whether you like it or not, those jobs are being shed within the industry. It's happening. They're trying to cut down their development costs. Games are becoming too expensive. And if this is a way to reduce those costs, my thing has always been build smaller games. But if you can reduce the costs of how many developers you have and still build out those big budget games, like I'm absolutely all for it. I don't want people to lose their jobs, but times change. You know what I mean? We don't have people working the Louvre anymore, because we've got sewing machines and things like that. So the times are always going to change. I think we just have to move with it. And I can see the positives here. And I think it's a really good thing for the industry. And again, if Xbox could build that into their new box, I would be super hyped. You all good over there, Garuda? I don't know why I'm yelling.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not real. It's okay. We're not like in the worst part of it, but the wind's crazy, man.
That's scary. And you all already have all type of animals and creatures in Jumanji land over there.
We're quite a long way south, but it's messing up the whole East Coast, and just the wind it's blown over a couple of trees and stuff today. But
man,
my son lives right where the eye of it will be, so I'm a little bit worried about him. But no, we're okay. It's causing havoc with everything at the moment. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. All those dangerous animals are flying through the air now, Umbra. So it's like if you can imagine, like like
Sharknado,
snakes and
right, just like Sharknado, but like Australia versions. So just Jumanji-nado, just all type of animals and creatures flying.
You step outside, you cop a big snake in the mouth, bro.
Oh, good. Hold on now. Wait.
Whoa. Whoa.
Walk out there like, hey, what's going on? What's going on out here?
This is a whole different conversation.
You do that sound pretty well there, Umbra.
You ain't shit for that.
I didn't mean it like that, I promise.
What's up,
before I jump to the panel on sort of thoughts with AI, I just want to welcome back Donte. How's your week been? What have you been up to? How's things? How's life treating you? And follow on from that, just what are your thoughts on, are we going to see a new Xbox in 2026? Do you think the rumors are true that the Call of Duty is being developed? They've been pretty accurate, these guys. I think it was Ghost someone. Been pretty accurate, with their leaks. And how do you feel about the implementation of AI when it comes to training models of NPCs to operate within the game? That's what Satya was talking about. They've basically done that. They're at a point where they can train NPCs to behave like humans based on human behavior from a player as it models that behavior. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but how do you feel? Welcome back. How's your week? And how do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Week's been pretty good, pretty busy with work, but that is what it is. Yeah, so like I don't know if that leaker is correct and we do see it from 2026, I think that would be good for Xbox because we're at the point now where it's kind of like you have to do you want to somehow still compete in the hardware front. You got to come out quickly with some compelling hardware. So I would hope that we'll get something sooner than later. So 2026, I think sounds good. I thought for some reason maybe like 2027, but like if it's next year, I think that's even better, especially if it's good, compelling hardware. In terms of the AI stuff, like yeah, that's cool if it's used for that purpose. So if it's used for things like improving how NPCs behave in games, I'm all for that. The part where I get concerns about AI is if it's used to kind of cut corners and cut out like actual take away from actual developers who would have created something that would have been like a beautiful landscape or a level or something like that. That's my only concerns with it. It's kind of like, oh well, we use this and you can tell that you're using it and like, oh, that saved us a couple heads that we could have had some actual artists who were doing a particular job. So if it's used for AI modeling, cool, I'm all for that. Let's we would like to see more interactive NPCs that have more human-like behavior. Again, the concern is like, does it start there and then later they figure out it's a way that we can take teams that have 50 people on it and cut it down to 30 people or something like that, and people start losing their jobs. So that's my only concern whenever I hear AI being used in gaming. My ears kind of perk up a little bit as to like, in what capacity, in what way are you doing it? But yeah, man, I
feel like that's the future, right? But exactly what you sorry, I dipped out because I'm literally making a coffee, but I heard that and I had to come back and say, I feel like that is the future. Like we're looking at the Unreal Engine. Yeah, well, Unreal Engine, where you build like an art piece, and then from that it models what you've sort of built, and then it builds out a whole world. You can take blocks and add, and it will AI sort of build stuff based on what the art that you've put in.
Yeah,
so that's already sort of there, right?
Like if it creates certain, but you can see when it does that and it creates certain landscapes that become lifeless, right? And basically don't look like they have like legitimate originality to it, right? It's kind of like there's a difference between something that's well crafted where you're like, you can look in the exploration of Elden Ring and throughout that whole world and be like, no, this is artists putting forth effort into all the different landscapes and biomes that you go to, versus something where it's doing like the computer generated models where it's good, it looks good, but you can also tell like it kind of lacks that human touch. That would be like, yo, I really enjoyed exploring this particular region, right? You see that like that would be some like if I have some complaints with Starfield, it's like some of the worlds are like that, right? Where the way it's doing its computer generation of some of the stuff, like the landscapes. Like I want some diversity where I'm like, oh man, look at that crazy cliff over there that leads into a waterfall and things of that nature. So I think you kind of miss out on that with some of that generation. So yeah, it's happening. The thing is like how much more of it are you doing to the point where it takes away from the human creator, right? Because the human aspect of creating these worlds is the part that at least draws me into gaming, right? Into that particular medium. And so if I can tell that something is definitively AI generated, it starts to kind of seem a little generic over time if it's too pronounced. So I'm just hoping that doesn't be the case. If it's used for what he's talking about, which is NPC interaction, that would be dope, right? Because a lot of times NPCs are very one tone, right? You come up to an NPC and maybe you have a couple lines of dialogue or something, and then every time you return to the NPC, it's going to say the same thing, or it'll just say go away because it has nothing else to say to you. So if they have it where NPCs will be able to be a little bit more interactive, then that would be cool. Or do certain things where you're like you just look over there and the NPC just doing something crazy based off of something that you did in that particular town and it triggered an event. Like that would be kind of cool where it feels a little bit more like human and lived in. So that I'm for. I'm just cautious about, well, what else would you end up using it for if it potentially takes away that human component? So.
Right. Yeah, look, I can sort of see it. I get that. And I just think as it gets better, as it starts to model our behaviors, our art, our everything that sort of we do as it learns and becomes Skynet, it'll eventually take over the world, send nukes to my bad. Went off on a tangent. But like I think it'll improve over time. And so I think it's inevitable that we lose roles within development studios. I think that's just an inevitability that developers sort of need to sort of prepare for, train for. You're always going to need artists to build out that game. But when you, instead of having a team of 50 artists, you've got a team of say 10, and then AI takes the art that they've sort of got and they start to sort of model what they're doing, and not exactly right, but at this point the AI is not there. But I think that's where we're heading, and I think it does a pretty good job. I mean, even look at Starfield, like you said, those procedurally generated worlds based on exactly what we're doing, like Holly said. So Holly, definitely go to you. How are you feeling about the future of AI? Do you think that this is just a good thing, or did you see it as a negative? Or do you have a more nuanced take? Could be both.
I mean, every time a major technological leap comes around, people freak out, right? And it is, of course, particularly scary for those people who are in the industry of whatever that technology boom is, because of course either you have to learn to adapt, or you get kind of chewed up in the cannon fodder. And I think AI is the next major technological advancement that we're going to see, and it's already here. It's one of those things, right, that you can't say, well, this could potentially be a bad genie, we need to put it back in the box, because as we all know, once something is created, nobody's going to be like, somebody is going to use it, right? And so then it becomes a race, right, to who can use it the most effective. Or if you refuse to use it, then you just get behind, right? I mean, that is the facts of life. So there has to be a way to figure out how to advance AI and use it and help people also adapt to the market and how it's being used, because you still need people to program it, you still need people to interact with it, right, to feed it models to use, things like that. But I know for sure that AI is already in a lot of the studios that we all know, and it's already been used, and a lot of people don't know it. So, and not necessarily in all ways, but I know that art departments in particular have been pretty well gutted in advancement of AI. And I've also heard that those studios have seen a significant drawdown in the lead times to their next game, right? Which is what they're looking at to sort of drive costs down and drive timelines down so that they can move on to the next thing and make some money and spend less money to make something that is, close to on par to what we see today. So I don't know. I mean, obviously we all talk about, how bad it is for people to lose jobs, etc. And yes, of course it is. Game development is more of a gig based work than sort of a permanent based work. Like it's not necessarily the type of industry that, you go and you get a job at a company and you work there for your career, right? It's more based around the game that's in development, right? So you might be there 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, whatever, but it's definitely more gig based than it is employee traditionally based.
Yeah, because no one's going to want to keep you on if your part of the job for that project is finished, and your specific skills are not going to be required until the next project, which could be 2 or 3 years away. So,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
so
that sucks.
So there's a lot of that. I'm just saying there's a lot of iteration, there's a lot of turnaround, there's a lot of short-term work in the industry already because of the nature of the industry. So having adaptation, I think, to be able to work in the game industry is just key to begin with, right? Even if AI wasn't a factor, you have to know how to market yourself. You have to know how to change with how the industry is changing, and you have to have an exit plan and have to be able to go and work somewhere else should it just become too difficult, or like we're seeing now, shrinkage, right? There's a lot of shrinkage going on in the video game industry.
Nah,
There you go.
not over here, not over here, baby.
Yeah,
It was cold that night.
Yeah.
Not today, darling. Not
Xbox
today.
issue right
Not
there.
over here, baby. And it's cold out. It's still good over. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Donte
Dang.
takes a girl.
Yeah, I very much sort of fall into I agree. Like, there's going to be job losses, there's going to be negatives, and there's going to be positive with every technological advancement, which sucks. Unless you and I would 100% agree with the almost gig nature of development. Though Japan doesn't operate like that because of its I can't think of the word for it, but its workplace laws make it extremely difficult to fire people, to the point where I can't remember who, I think it's Koei Tecmo or one of those companies, literally wanted to sack people. So what they did was they sat them in a room with nothing to do until they quit. Like, that's and frankly, I would love that. If that's how I got fired, I'd be like, I've got all the time. I would probably just get everyone in that room and go, like, well, while we're here, guys, and we got the tech, let's build a game, right? We need to do it. We're getting paid, right? We may as well just build a game, make it our own. But yeah, that's a bit of a side thing. Yeah, I guess for me, I think it's a very, very good thing. Umbra, how you feeling about the advancements into AI? If we're going to start modeling NPCs on human behavior, I only see that as a positive for gamers. You know, having worlds that are more lived in, and you know, these NPCs start to operate more like in a human way, especially when you've got PvE. It would be, I think it's a fantastic sort of move that brings a whole new Souls sort of genre to a next level thing, right? Because you're fighting against model behavior that's it's going to make things extremely difficult, but and fun, I think. So, Umbra, where's your thoughts on the AI that Satya Nadella was sort of talking about? Negative, positive?
Both, right? And it's both for me, but it's largely because we don't know enough. And it's always the case that anytime there's major technology shifts, there's going to be job loss. And so you got AI that's going to be taking over positions that people probably eventually, at least not initially, but eventually is going to get to a point where it's going to make jobs redundant, right? So that's the problem, and that's why people are afraid of it. And anything you don't quite understand, people tend to be afraid of too. So I feel like just not knowing enough, a lot of people are kind of already on the edge, but it depends on how to implement it. If it's something just simple tools to help along with some things, then it could be fine. But if it's going to be something that can replace an entire human and does it more efficiently, well, some people are going to lose a job, right? And that's just no way around it. These corporations do not care about you at the end of the day. Billionaires and all that, they do not care about you. It's just the way of the nature of the beast. And it's a part of the rampant part of capitalism is for them to get more money. And if they can do that by getting rid of you, they're going to do it. So the fear is the loss of actual jobs for us as humans, as weird as that is to say out and loud. But that's the real fear. I like the idea of being like a futurist in my head a little bit and having this thought like, man, AI and everything like that's going to take us to this next level. I mean, we're eventually going to get to that Ready Player One level where I can start plugging stuff up or putting some glasses on and going into this world because of the new technology we've developed. Yeah, I should have said we're plugged up too, but yeah. But yeah,
who's plugging you, bro? Like,
shit.
You just elaborate on what's going on here.
I mean, okay, think of Neo in the Matrix and plugging into the back of your head or something. I don't know.
That's what you think of when you, bro.
In the back of your head?
In the back of his head is better than the damn front of your head, I guess. I don't know. And or anywhere or any other orifice on your body. I can anyway. Getting back. Now I see what you go through, Blue. I see now that this with these juvenile men here, I see it. Finish him. No, but seriously, I feel like the advancements of that are going to be beneficial to the consumer, but then at what cost? And that's the bigger issue. And I'm always going to be on the side. Well, hold on, let me not say too much, because I'm saying that an AI probably listening to my ass. I'm like, I'm always going to be on the side of human. It's like, oh, delete him, right?
Target
Exactly. Acquired. We never liked your black ass anyway.
Oh my god.
Delete. So yeah, I just feel like at a point it's gonna start out innocently enough. Yeah, it's just gonna help.
For destruction.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Megatron.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna start out innocently enough. Oh, it's just gonna help with this, it's gonna help with that. And then there's gonna be like an epidemic of job loss. That's the way I look at it eventually, honestly. Just being honest.
like-
That technology typically replaces people.
Yeah, like what Holly
It's
said,
true.
like makes sense. It is the reality of basically how, especially in technology, how the job market moves, and as technology progresses, if there's ways for certain things to be done a little easier and more efficient, that generally equals the cost of the human behind it. But like gaming is like art creation, right? You know what I'm saying? That like there's that human aspect of it, of the creator, I think is still pretty paramount. Same thing with like film and movies, where you want to feel like, hey, I'm just not watching some regurgitated trash, that you were able to kind of use like some of the same assets from a previous thing for this. And I also want like the game creators to feel like this is an industry that you do want to make a career in, versus this is an industry that you're highly expendable in. Because if that becomes the norm, less people are going to be wanting to become game developers, right? It's like, oh well, I have a shelf life, right? And it's kind of like, I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, I busted and waited tables for a few years and stuff, and that was like a gig job, right? It's another thing to be like, it takes a lot to create games to be able to be pretty good at either if you're coding or if you're, like drawing stuff for games. That's not something I think you just kind of like casually get into, and you dedicate a lot of your time and your heart to that. So I think you would want to feel that like, I'm creating things that people enjoy and also can make a career out of this. And it's not like if so you work for a company, project gets out, that game gets delivered, and then if it's something that you have to now switch to another one, well, it's not as easy just to be like, well, I'm going to pick up and go to such and such state where this studio is, right? If I can't apply for a job for another studio that allows me to work for where I currently live at, right? There's studios all over the world, so it's going to be kind of hard to be like, I live here, there's not a lot of studios creating games here. I was working for the one studio that did, and then I lost this job because I got replaced by AI, and now I got to move to, try to pick up my family and move across country or something like that. That's a tough ask, and I don't want the people who create our product to feel like this is a place where they're going to be easily dismissed if technology comes in and companies are like, yeah, we can just get this art creator to get this done through the AI, and then boom, that's 5 great artists gone. That would suck. So to me, that would be the harm of it. Like as consumers, we think about the pros of it, but there's that part of it, which is the human aspect, and I always am going to be paying attention to that, not so much of just what I want to consume, because I like gaming.
Donte is against us.
Yep. You heard it here first, AI.
Look, I agree. I 100% agree. And I think that the industry needs to find, especially in the society that we live in, which is obviously based around capitalism, is we need to find that that happy medium where, a studio has always got that work for that role. There's always going to be contract work, and I think that's where you hire contractors. And that's sort of the gig side of it, right? But there's always going to be contractors that are talented. They've contracted here, they've contracted here. We find it in mining. The same thing happens in mining. You're a contractor, you go in to do a contract piece, and the mine specifically sort of singles you out, and they say, hey, you guys, you did a good job. We want to bring you on full time because we've got more work, or we've got similar work that you could be doing. I think as well, insofar as developers and sort of looking ahead, I think it's sort of on the tertiary institutes to start to cross-skill, some of these developers, when it comes to, not just focusing in on that one thing. You have your renderer, you have your animator, you have your artists, etc. Maybe start to cross-skill some of these people so that they can step into other roles. I think you find that with game directors, a lot of them have have sort of stepped into other roles throughout their time in the industry. You know, they've been here as an artist, and then they're like, I wanted to try my hand in animating. I think studios and the industry needs to sort of encourage that a little more, so that when that work on this particular thing is finished, you're moving on to that next thing and you're skilled in that too. Or you step into a sort of a support role for the guys that do that full time. Excuse me. But yeah, I 100% look. It is a very nuanced thing, and you know, there's always going to be a bit of pain when you have technological advances. Garuda, how you feeling about AI? You think that what they're doing? I think what they're doing with this specific thing is going to be very good for the industry, and it does create jobs in a way. It obviously removes some of those developers who would be programming NPC behavior, but you're also bringing in testers, people that just play the game, and it models their behavior. So how are you feeling about AI? Obviously, it is a very nuanced topic.
Yeah, it is nuanced, and there's it's multifaceted, and it's evolving so quickly that your opinion today could be totally different next week depending on which way they go with it. But first and foremost, like most of you guys touched on, the most important aspect of it, and that's the human element. That will all, yeah, okay. The most important aspect of it is the human element, and whenever the AI is raised, especially in our sort of capitalist system that we have in the Western society, it'd be very naive to think that these businesses are not going to use this AI for sort of nefarious purposes and for money saving initiatives. And that's what it's all about. That's the name of the game in capitalism. And that's what is going to happen. And as much as I don't like it. However, as far as, what I think AI can kind of add to what we do in gaming and what we love, they kind of need to stop talking about how amazing AI is and start showing me some use cases for how it's going to improve my experience in gaming. And the only one I've seen thus far would happen to be the one a couple of years back that I think maybe Donte touched on it, or one of the other guys. The dialogue. Yeah, I've got to stop that. I fell for the same one twice. Maybe I'm.
What did you touch, Donte?
So he definitely didn't touch. Moving on. The dialogue, the dynamic dialogue that with the NPC characters within the games like Skyrim and stuff like that. That is cool. Where like you say, you don't go up and talk to the same NPC 3 times, and then by that time he's gone through his loop and back to the beginning and saying the same thing again. Where you can have a really open-ended and organic conversation, things like that. That's super cool, right? I thought that was amazing, and that kind of AI, I don't think it negatively impacts anyone's creativity. I think that kind of stuff's cool, but aside from that, I haven't really seen, aside from the the upscaling of the resolution and the frame generation, that's all AI as well. That's cool, but apart from those two things, I haven't really seen anything where I'd go, oh wow, like this is this great big innovation. They haven't shown me that use case yet. To really get me that excited about it. I know that it's rapidly developing. I just don't like, when the human element is impacted so heavily, even though I know that's a sort of foregone conclusion and it will happen. Like I said, capitalism, yay, but yeah, you got to show me a little bit more than artificially generated frames and, open-ended sort of AI dialogue to get me too excited about it. But it is the future, man, and it evolves so quickly. Like you think about Mid-Journey and stuff like that a couple of years ago, and you look at how much better and more improved it is now. It's a little bit scary how quickly it evolves. So, I mean, next year we could be having a completely different conversation about this, about what it does. But anyone in the gaming industry who's being impacted, not just by AI, but just in general with the layoffs, like just to touch on that quickly, man, you would have to make a really compelling case as to why somebody with the talents to create video games should be in the industry at the moment. It would be a hard sell for somebody, say, coming out of a degree or just attaining a new skill to head in the game industry direction. The only reason I could see anyone wanting to do that, a new worker or a young person coming in the industry, was through the passion of the hobby itself, and that only gets you so far. If you don't have job security, if you don't have sort of the monetary reasons to stay in it, why would you be in it? And I feel that a lot of these people that are being laid off, not just because of AI, but in general, they're probably going to be lost to the industry because it's too volatile, it's too uncertain, and that's bad news for all of us, so that's a concern just generally.
According to some creators that I've seen, they're saying they only lay off the bad ones, apparently, what I heard.
No, it's a load of shit.
Stupid. Which is very stupid. Guys, hit the like button, share us out. We go live 8 p.m., 7 p.m. every Friday. We'll probably jump into the next topic, I think, because that's sort of very relatable and something that sort of follows on nicely in not a good way, but a bad way from this discussion, which is PlayStation's laid off an unknown number of workers at their visual art studio. So we're talking about the guys who animators, artists, and they've worked on games like Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2 remasters. Part 2, absolutely amazing game, one of the best games ever made. Number 2, Holly, I don't know if you played it. Number 2. Oh, damn. Look. So, yeah, look, I think this sort of feeds into the conversation that we're having. Like, you're talking about a visual art studio, so this is something that probably AI has had a direct effect on, and maybe they feel like they can sort of bring it down a little bit. And this is not something that's Sony specific, and I know the guys in the chat, you guys probably going to want to take a big dump on Sony about this one. But this is an industry-wide issue. And onto the sort of the top of that, the one that was just almost painful for me because I was really looking forward to their next game, is Monolith Studios has been shut down by Warner Brothers, which is just horrific because this is the team that made Shadows of Mordor and the one previous. They're working on a Wonder Woman game. WB obviously took a massive hit. I think as a $300 million loss on Suicide Squad, and Monolith has felt the full force of that. And that means that, to your point, Garuda, we're never going to see another Mordor. This is the team that created the Nemesis system, which is under copyright until 2038, apparently. This is just a huge loss, and we do see this happening too often. I just wanted to relate this and call it out. Terrible to see. I really love Shadows of Mordor. I think there was a fantastic game. It was one of those open world games where there wasn't too much to do. It was a real cool premise because it's obviously Lord of the Rings. I loved it. And everything in the game just sort of worked well. And then when you had the Nemesis system tacked on top of that, it was just an absolute hit, man. And the second one was even better. And it's just really disappointing to see that that WB's shutting down Monolith Studios. And I really,
brother. WB,
do you wish Microsoft would have made a push for him?
Yeah. Who did?
Yes. I'm asking if does he wish Microsoft would have made a push for him?
100%. I said it in 2023. They should be. I still think they should swoop in.
They were asking for too much, though.
Yeah, but their IP is so valuable. Their IP is so valuable and woefully and painfully underutilized. They do not know how to use that IP in any effective manner. They have some of the best pop culture, just an incredible IP under their banner, and they do not know how to use that. They are making the lessons they learned from Hogwarts Legacy were the complete wrong lessons to learn. Like, everything they're saying is contrary to what they should be doing, and everyone can see it except for them. And it's a real sad state of affairs over there. I think they're being poorly managed, terribly mismanaged over there. I think they're getting some bad advice, and it's just a absolute shambles. And I hope somebody with some idea picks them up, scoops them up, and just puts a broom through upper management and starts bringing those IPs to the fore and using them as they should be used. So the Lord of the Rings IP has been woefully underutilized. Rocksteady has been just put on a piece of shit live service game for 9 years. Like, there's just blunder after blunder, and the only positive they've had in the last 6-8 years being Hogwarts Legacy, they have learned all the wrong lessons from it. Like, it's a shocking mess over there. It's a mess.
Right, because the word was that they're talking about making a Hogwarts Legacy sort of live service Harry Potter game.
Like no.
How is that? How do you get that lesson from that? I mean, look at these are the guys that made Batman, right? Look, I'm going to be honest. This is going to get me a lot of smoke. I can see how it's a good game, but for me, I didn't really enjoy any of those Batman games. It wasn't really. They're not really. I don't know. I just couldn't get into them.
No,
what you talking about? The Arkham games? You talking about?
Okay, they're all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you deserve all the smoke for sure. What in the world?
They're good, but they're not like
great.
They're good.
You
but
too,
I
Garuda?
don't.
What you too?
I like them.
Yeah.
I like them.
Look, you made Donte go off camera. Look at that. You all upset him.
I like them. I said I like them. They're better than Spider-Man. But
Okay.
I mean, Batman's for pussies. Sorry.
I'm just generally like superheroes and things like that. Like, is not my bag at all. But they're like the better superhero games for sure. The combat's cool. Like, they're a bit old now, though. You know, that's the only thing.
Yeah, it's still great though. I think great
They
games.
are.
They still hold up.
Great games are timeless, bro.
Yeah,
Great games. They are. And
games are
if you go
timeless.
back with Arkham City, the second one, like I think it was last year, you can do some crazy mods, and that game looks like a current day game still. If you do some mods on that, it looks great. But they're good games. But yeah. But you know, like Suicide Squad, and what's that other game where Batman dies? Like, it's just not it, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. Their lessons. It's weird that they took that lesson from Harry Potter. They're like, oh, we could have made more money if we kept this game going. It's like, you made a shit ton. You made a shit ton of money.
That did good.
Yeah,
it was the number one selling game that year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and it's
Higher
got
than
phenomenal
Call of Duty.
units sold, right? So you made a shit ton of money, right? And that's another game that I didn't finish. I'll get to it. But you made a shit ton of money. Just make a fucking another one like that. Like this. Like, it worked. This worked. It spins me out, WB, because they're like, this worked. Let's do something different because it'll be even better. And like, I don't know how there's the psychology of the decisions that they're making. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's greed, man. It's just like, yeah, this made a lot of money, but the things that make the most money is something that is live service, right? It's continuous ability for them to charge the consumer in some particular way. So it's always it's not about like, hey, we put out a good piece of art that was a fun game for the fans of this franchise to basically enjoy, and then it stood a test on its own. It has to be like, yeah, that's cool, but how could we monetize it even more?
You know,
it's crazy.
You know, Monolith didn't make the Batman games, right?
No.
Yeah.
That was
Monolith
that's
made
their IP.
Yep.
Yeah, Rocksteady.
We talked about it.
Rocksteady.
Okay. We switched to Rocksteady.
Yeah,
they're bouncing around.
Okay.
They made Shadows of Mordor and Mordor Rising. I don't know what's the first one called. Yeah,
Fear. They made
Shadow
the Fear
War.
games.
Oh yeah, they did make
did.
Fear, and they're like real cult classics, you know, like.
Yeah, but WB as a whole is sort of what we're sort of slipping. We're sort of talking about is like what they did with Rocksteady, which is just horrific, man. You had absolute hits with Batman. You had an IP that like was actually being successful in the video game space that has not been successful in other mediums recently, right? So, and you're fucking nailing it with this, and it's your IP, and off the back of that video game, you know, they sort of moved into other mediums, like tried to make more movies that weren't very successful, but your IP is being successful here. Why would you fuck it up? I don't understand WB. Like, I agree with you, Donte, 110%. It's greed. And they're like, hey, you know, we don't have the cost of development is much, much lower to create skins and do this and do that and do the Fortnite thing. But man, you are just absolutely, like you said, Garuda, underutilized. They're just sitting on bangers that they could just absolutely smash the industry with. I would like to see a Capcom resurgence with WB because I think that would be absolutely fantastic. And like, they've just.
Well, they're going to have to start licensing these
Capcom
IPs
to pick
out
up and scoop up some of their IPs.
Yeah,
they could easily license those out. Like, they could literally.
They have
like
to.
Marvel.
They have to now because Umbra, they got no one left because they're losing all their in-house development talent.
Yeah,
so who's going to start utilizing? Who's going to develop these games? They got no one left.
It's a lot of mismanagement going on there, and that new guy they had come in, it seems to be he doesn't quite know what he's doing. And well, I guess it's not much saying much because the previous guy didn't know too much either. But it seems like it's just mismanagement, and like you said, they have a treasure trove of IP. It's ridiculous how much great IP they actually have at their disposal, from Lord of the Rings to all of DC. And I can even go further than that if I really look into a Mad Max, all these other things that WB owns that they could really put out there. It's insane that they're like even struggling like this. Like, you got so many studios out there who would love to get their hands on those IP. I don't understand.
I heard that a lot of the top dogs at Monolith throughout all the bullshit over the last couple of years with the development of Wonder Woman, they actually left over all of the mismanagement at WB. So what was left of Monolith was a shell of its former self anyway, but that all comes back to the work environment they were put under and things like that. So it's a real shame. Real shame.
Yes, Game Seeker said first Mag says Reforged is now the smartest man in the community. And now Riskit with Arkham games aren't good. What in the fuck is flying fuck is going on here? No, I'm not saying they weren't good. Like, I can see how they're I can see how they're good. Like the games that I can see good. The goodness in them. They just didn't. I don't know, man. I just some games, for instance, Control. I had to go back and play Control 3 times, and then once I was in, right? So maybe I think Batman's one of those games. I just got to be in the mood to sort of get started with it. I've tried twice, hasn't stuck with me. Mag is not an idiot. Game adaptation newscast. He's not at all. He's a good dude. I don't know if he did say that. I think smartest man is overreach. Maybe stupidest man. No, but look, yeah, I think smartest man is an overreach. Anyway, we should get back into WB. Holly, how you feeling about WB? We haven't heard from you. So what do you think about WB as a whole in the studio, shutting down a Monolith? The fact that we basically doesn't look like we're going to get a Nemesis system applied to any game, until 2038 when the copyright finally
36.
drops.
36. Yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan at all of gaming companies like Nintendo or like the Nemesis system being able to patent things like that so specifically. Like, it's fine that you're not giving the code over to other people, but they should be able to, sort of emulate or build something like that of their own. I just think that's not a great law that should be amended. Because what else is going to happen with that? I guess they could sell that off to somebody else, but I don't know how much it's worth it. So, Monolith, man, I really wanted to see that Wonder Woman game. I'm really disappointed that we're probably obviously not going to get that now. But Rocksteady is a victim of being owned by a company that has completely no direction and has lost their way in all aspects of what they own. And WB is an absolute institution in our culture because it's been around. They were one of the original studios from old Hollywood, right? And they have all of these they own all of these amazing IPs, both from movies and, that's transferred, of course, through DC and then into gaming. And they just can't get it right. And part of that is just obviously really bad, poor management. And then the other is just like the rest of the industry. It wasn't unique to them. They took single player narrative-driven experience studios and forced them to go and make a live service game. So it just doesn't work. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. So, but at the end of the day, it's all about WB. We know they're bleeding money. We know that they're practically bankrupt and they're desperate to find a way to sell off some pieces. So unfortunately, for them, because their gaming side was pushed one way and then they've had all these issues, that's probably one of the first to get cut, fairly or not. And I mean, even when you look at the quality of HBO these days, right? HBO was like the gold standard for anything that ever came out, right? And now it's Apple. Like Apple TV is legitimately the best TV out there. But like
Agreed.
HBO doesn't, like, it might come in the mix because they might have one show every once in a while that really hits the mark, but like they're bleeding money on everything. So
I mean,
it's really sad.
HBO brought some of the best miniseries that like we
Ever.
and now
Yeah.
now it's Apple. Like it really is Apple. You're right. Like it's unbelievable. It feels Apple TV even feels like HBO, right? Like it even feels it has the right feel to it. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. Like by the way, I just discovered Mythic Quest and I am just absolutely hooked. That's the other part of the reason why.
So good. It's one of my favorite shows.
It's a comedy?
So
I love it, man.
I haven't seen it.
Yes.
It's on HBO?
About the video game
Oh,
industry.
sorry, Apple TV. Is it Apple
It's
TV?
about the
TV.
video game industry.
Oh, that's what you were
it's-
telling me about, right?
All right,
Okay.
check it out.
Yes. It's Rob McElhenney.
Oh, you guys haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen that one.
No, I haven't watched
Oh, it's so good.
Dude,
It's so good.
so
But
good.
I'm an Apple TV fan, so I'll queue it up.
So I-
Season
it's the
4.
one-
Season 4 just started. So get on it.
I'm
Wow.
on
I'm way
I'm on
back.
season 2 and
But I'm so high.
it's I don't know how you do it. Has really serious moments, but it's fucking hilarious most of the time. Like, but it has some really serious moments that they really fit in well. Like they just managed to slot them in perfectly. And they even have like episodes that sort of breakout episodes that like maybe focus on a character or even like at once. I won't spoil it, but honestly, Mythic Quest is absolutely amazing. I'm loving that show. I think everyone should watch it. If you haven't watched it, just sit down and just smash it. And the one thing I will spoil is like Ian. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yes,
but like
he's the
his name's Ian, and they're calling him Iron because that's what he calls. He calls it. Oh my god, good.
It's just and it's
So
Rob
good.
McElhenney, and he is like the most narcissistic person on the planet, but he's the creative director, right, of the game. And the game is kind of like a spoof on World of Warcraft.
They go into the world of the game, you're saying?
They do they have little video scenes of like gameplay and stuff too. Yeah, it's very poor looking gameplay, but it's because it doesn't really matter, right? Like it's more about
I'll see if I
the
can check it
studio
out.
dynamic.
Mythic Quest. Let me put that down. You all, I know you watched Severance. I know you and Donte watched that. Have you seen that, Riskit? Severance?
No. I'm stuck on. I only have time for video gaming mostly, and I generally don't watch anything.
Shut your lying self up. I don't even see you online anymore, bro.
The main character besides Ian is Poppy, and Poppy is Australian. She's got a mouth on her. But like she called somebody a bogan the other day and I was like, oh my gosh. Like this would mean nothing if I didn't know, right?
She's a real Australian.
Perfectly describing Riskit.
She's used a couple of Aussie colloquialisms, and like one of them, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was something bogan, and like everyone just stopped, was like, what does that mean? And then Ian was like, I'm taking that as a compliment, and then they just moved on. I was like, oh, so good. This is so good. You honestly have to watch it. I love Poppy. Poppy's amazing. She's like emotionally in the first couple of first season, I would say she's emotionally fucking unstable. Like
she comes into her own really in the second season. She's a little like unsure, and she grows in her personality and stuff over the first season.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. I'm loving it. We just went on to a TV show, which we never do here, but fuck, I gotta tell you guys, you're gonna watch it. If you haven't watched that, you got to watch it. I like literally was I was on the plane and pissing myself laughing like out loud. You don't do that in public like normally because you're like a crazy fucking person, but I couldn't help it because it's just that funny. So good. And if you
cast already some solid people here, I know. I'm looking at
it's good.
Yeah.
So good. And the producer is just an absolute pussy. And I love it. It's so good. He just gets
the Christian Melody girl that Abdel was talking about. She's in here too, apparently.
Joe, the assistant, one of the best characters. Total psychopath.
So
it's great.
Oh, yes,
she's a total psycho. So good.
I see Imani Hakim. I'm not sure who she is, but she's gorgeous. Her name is Dana in the show, I guess.
Oh, she's one of the testers. She's one of the testers.
Man, she's gorgeous. And they got the guy from It's Always Sunny, right? Him in it. Rob McElhenney.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Ian guy you always
Ian.
talk about.
He's
okay.
Ian.
It's
a very big deal.
I haven't watched the show to have this reference. I don't know that reference.
They don't even like they don't really reference it. You just like literally watching the show and they're all calling him Iron, and then you see it spelt somewhere on like a whiteboard or something. and it's Ian, and you're like, what the fuck? His name's Ian. He's calling himself Iron, and he's just so narcissistic that's what he's, you know what I mean? That's what he's like. Fucking hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Look, well, it's a good note to end the show on because guys, gonna definitely just jump off and watch that first episode. I'm telling you. And Tim Pier21 in the chat says, if you like that, then you need to watch Anora. Best Picture of 2024, exact same thing. So I've written that down. I'm definitely going to find Anora. I'm going to watch it. If it's anything like Mythic Quest, I'm 100% in. Been a fantastic show. News has been a little bit light over the last couple of weeks, but I enjoyed the conversation. I like talking about this whole tech, AI, where are we going sort of thing. I want to know, what's next for the gaming industry because we're in a very unstable period, I think, at the moment. If we're not, I think we talked early in 2021 about
since COVID, bro. Like we still haven't fully got to stability.
I think we're in a bit of a crash. I mean, maybe you could call it a slump, but I think this is the crash. I think it's happening now. We've lost, I think, over 40,000 developers since 2020, and maybe even more.
It's kind of weird though, because we're just starting to get to all this stuff's going pear-shaped in the background with the layoffs and the studio closures and the publishers, doing all this evil, nefarious stuff. But we're just getting back to a cadence of games where they're going bang, bang, bang. We're getting hit game after hit game, nonstop, like Game Passes just getting bangers. Like we can't keep up with our backlog. So it's really strange that we've just got back to this good cadence again, but all this stuff's happening in the background. It's sad, but we might not be getting a heap of news in the background, but games, which is what we do this for, we're getting a plethora of those. So, I mean, that's a good news, I guess. Trying to be positive, but yeah, man, there's so many games though. That's what's so sad. There's so much quality content, but all these people are losing their jobs. That's the thing that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even from the studios that have been successful, like Marvel Rivals has been hugely successful, and dude, not a huge amount of people, but NetEase is going around shedding their Western developers when, it was part of their Western development team that helped to bring that game on. So, yeah, I mean, disappointing. I think I think the industry needs to stop focusing on growth, and I think it needs to start focusing on shoring up its consumer base. Frankly, I think that's been part of the problem, and not only have we lost developers. If you look at trends in the industry, I think we've slowly over time lost a lot of console gamers, maybe even some PC gamers, just because of the bullshit, the poor releases, the poor optimizations, the weird decisions with WB, and all these sort of things happening throughout the industry. I think all these developers literally just focus on making the best fucking game you can make. I think when studios do that, they see success. Anyway, look. Fantastic way to end the show. It's been an absolutely great conversation, as always, with you wonderful people. I'm gonna let people know where you can find you, what you're up to, plans for the future. I see you've just posted an advertisement for the next show.
Indeed,
which is
roundtable
discussion.
The roundtable discussion, spoiler cast, if you will. We will be spoiling it. We'll talk about the story, but that'll be the last section of the discussion. So for those who may not have beaten Avowed or are weary of that type of thing, you can still drop by, and thanks for sharing the link. You still can drop by and check us out for most of the discussion, and not be spoiled. So don't have no fear. I have it posted on the timeline, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way on Twitter. Check it out. Follow the steps there I have for the rules for this little giveaway. I'm going to give a game giveaway, and I have a hint on the tweet. It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, damn. If y'all can't get what I'm talking about, then you don't deserve the game. Anyway, no, seriously, we'll be having a discussion. It'll be fun. It'll be myself. It'll be Slow-Mo Backslap and Lucius Augustus. So we're going to have a really good discussion about this. We got it all mapped out as far as the specific topic points on whatever. And yeah, we're going to have fun, man. So come by. This will be at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be pretty much right after Kaya and Everborn's GCP. And I'll see if I can get him to maybe usher in people from his show to it and force them into my viewership. But yeah, other than that, thank you, chat, for being here with us and holding us down tonight. And of course, to my panel of great people, all love to you all. And of course, you already told you where you can find me. Tuesdays, the Xbox Factor, myself, Boom, and Jamie Moran. Thursdays, of course, my show, The Fix with Daniel J. McGee. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern. And again, back here with these good people on Friday at 7 Eastern. So, yeah, thank you all. And talk to you next week. Play some games. Enjoy. Got to get on some split fiction.
Absolutely. Holly, let the people know where they can find you, what you'd be up to. I hear a little birdie tells me that you may start streaming soon. Let people know what you're up to. Salutations, that stuff.
Yeah.
That was English. That was words.
Tuesdays I'm on the Renegade Realm podcast. We just had an interview with a developer on Tuesday, so if you want to go back and watch that, it was really good. Also, I am going to start streaming. I might try to start this weekend, perhaps. BT, I am tempted to start with Eternal, although I'm actually scared to play that one on stream. We will see. I would like to maybe do like Doom Sundays or something like that, but I don't know. Still kind of figuring it out. So the first few streams are going to just be kind of testing runs and goofing around and whatever. So that's it. Just follow me on YouTube and you'll get the notifications and whatnot. I have 46 subscribers and no videos up. So just go on over there and click the subscribe if you're interested in watching me fail at Doom Eternal. It'd be a good time. So that's it. Thank you, chat, for being here too.
Absolutely. And I will get that link and drop it down in the description as well if you want to head over to Blue's channel and subscribe. In the near future, Donte, let people know where we can find you, what you be up to. Salutations, sir.
Yep. All right, yeah. So catch me on obviously on the socials, Donte J Moody. I will actually be on KS Dante's show tomorrow morning. So
Nice.
if you guys are up 10 a.m. Eastern on the Gaming Circle podcast, so I'll be hanging out with him in Everborn tomorrow. That'll be interesting because I'm curious if I'm going to get some sleep tonight. Should be fun. We'll see how that works out. And hopefully this weekend I'll finally be able to start getting deeper into Monster Hunter Wild. So I was taking a little bit of a break because I was playing 2 back-to-back 70-hour plus games. So I took a little bit of break this week with no gaming. But this weekend I think I'm going to get back into the swing of things. So, and obviously catch me here on Fridays, y'all. But a special shout out to the chat again, man. You guys, without you guys, we couldn't do this. So we appreciate you for coming through always and rocking with us and really, really cool in conversations, man. You guys are the best.
They definitely are. They definitely are. Garuda lets people know where they can find you, what you'd be up to if you survive the cyclone, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so you can catch me hiding offline like every week, and you can find me nowhere, which I like. But no, for real, you can find me here. Same deal. Just because of work, 2 weekends on, 2 weekends off, sort of thing. So, yeah, man, I do love coming on the show and everything like that. So. There might not be so much news going on in the background with announcements and all that kind of stuff, but that's because there's tons of games coming out, like I said. So if you can't find something to play right now, like seriously, man, you are not trying. So yeah, like I say, I'll be finishing up on Avowed. I've still got a long way to go on that. And I can't wait to get back to Split Fiction. So I'm serious about that game. Like if you can't have fun with that, I don't know what to tell you. So, you guys have got a lot to look forward to with that one. And, thanks for having me. Thanks, chat, for being here. Click the like before you get out of here. And, have a great weekend.
Yeah, definitely don't forget to hit that like button. And guys in the chat, you are amazing, as always. Every week, come through and support us. Really appreciate every single one of you guys. And me, I'm probably going to jump onto a little bit of Avowed, finish that off, and try to get through some Split Fiction. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to go find this new ThatBlueNumber channel that I don't know about and subscribe. So definitely do that. Head down the description, hit that link. If you want to find any one of the panel, we'll be down there and myself. And we'll see you all next week.